special process coffees and how do I roast these coffees? That is the core focus, the core question in this episode of Behind the Roast. For this purpose, I'm going to take you to Colombia, to the advanced cupping lab and training facility of Jaime Duque, who is also the Giesen representative, agent, ambassador in Colombia. Now, why special process coffees and why do we need to learn how to roast these? Because these coffees are really more and more popular nowadays. I know of so many roasters here in the San Francisco Bay Area and worldwide that are roasting and selling these coffees. Many producers have started to process their coffees using experimental fermentation protocols, whether it's anaerobic or aerobic. They've started to use infusion, adding other products to the fermentation tanks. Special drying protocols are being used. And this creates a lot of changes at the cellular level for the green coffee bean. Also, as a result of these processes, the amount of sugars and the acidity in these coffees can be vastly different from a normal washed or a normal natural coffee. So for that reason, we need to understand how to strategize our roasting protocol accordingly. We will not be able to give you one single solution for the roasting of all these coffees, but at least my intention is in this program to help you start to investigate these protocols on your own and to develop the right criteria, how you can judge them, how you can analyze them through a cupping protocol. This will be fun, but quite complicated as well. So let's go to Colombia, and then we'll come back with these roasted samples in order to evaluate them here at Boot Coffee Campus in San Rafael, California. Can you make some comments on the green coffee that we just roasted?
Sure. This coffee, it's a mix in between Senicafe 1 and Geisha. So if you see, there are some beans long, like Geisha variety, another Geisha variety, it's quite long, and also Senicafe beans, Senicafe 1. And the color, it's like a yellow, and it's coming from the natural process.
And it almost looks like the color has been affected by the fermentation process, right?
Yeah, too much.
Yeah. How does that work? How is that caused?
Yeah, the process maybe was longer fermentation, and the producers have been doing a very strange things also. So they have a kind of secret when you are asking about the time and coming, because they are worried that we find a defects like a phenol or something like that. So, but I am testing. Right now, so we need to check it.
So I'm here at Jaime Duque Coffee Laboratory, Catación Pública in Quindío, Colombia. We are roasting this interesting natural process coffee with a fermentation protocol. And with our W1A, we're going to try to kind of tame that intense fermentation flavor of this coffee. And so Jaime and I just have discussed the best protocol, the best profile. So Jaime, what do you think about the profile we are planning to do?
So hello, Willem. So we are planning to create a curve for this natural in the beginning after turning point. We are started without up in power, and during the turning point, the idea is to move up to 90. That now we're gonna do that.
So now he charged the beans at 150 degrees C. We're using Celsius here, Colombia. He charged the beans at 150 C with the flames off. At the turning point, we decided to go up to 90% heat. So we're controlling the heat manually. And the plan is to reduce the heat from 90% to 60% once the Maillard reaction starts, which is around 130 degrees C.
Yeah, we are waiting for 130 and to move down to the 60, according to, of course, rate of rise.
And so right now the beans are at 85 degrees C. And here you can see the screen a little bit better. We're using the Giesen roast profiler, which is an awesome software system. We're looking at the curves here. The blue curve is the air temperature. The red curve is the bean temperature. And then the green curve, or the green line, represents the heat level. And then here we have the power is basically the flame level, still 90%. And then we have the drum speeds and we have the air pressure, which we are not really planning to change in this specific profile. Jaime, the coffee we are roasting, what do you know about this coffee?
So this coffee coming from the Caicedonia, it's a town into the Valle del Cauca state, and the coffee is from Lusitania farm. So they have been working with this kind of fermentation 1-2 year ago, and they are planning to use this coffee for the competition. So it's a really exciting process because it's wow.
And which competition is that?
The national competition, barista competition.
So they're hoping to qualify for the World Barista competition in not in Singapore, in Melbourne, Australia, right?
Yeah, but this one is the first is the national barista competition, but they are planning to offer this kind of coffee into the different national or world barista competition.
Yeah. So let's look at our roasting progress. So what are your observations at this point?
Well, I am checking that the bean is moving, the temperature of the bean is moving to 115. So we are waiting for 130 degrees Celsius, and waiting for the start Maillard reaction.
Yeah, good. And we will see, and it will be interesting at 130 degrees. Maybe you can take some beans and we can put them here on the table. So this is 122. We will film that later. So maybe you can put the beans here on the. Great. So we are approaching this point where the Maillard reactions are really starting. What do you think we should do with the heat level, since we are still at a 90% heat at this point?
Well, I think that we are move down to the 60 degrees of power when the 130 Celsius beans temperature.
Yeah, good.
Right now.
And what we discussed to kind of tame the Maillard reactions, or to tame the fermented flavor of this coffee, it has a very intense fermentation flavor. We want to extend the Maillard reactions to create less acidity, a slightly reduced softening down the sweetness, because the acidity and the sweetness is very intense, right? And
And you are checking the guys. We are seeing this kind of process. The software allow to check exactly when the Maillard reaction started.
And so we are now at 6 minutes, more or less. So we have done, for the drying cycle, we have used 6 minutes, more or less, almost 6 minutes.
So we are seeing 6:30. That number is for checking the time. So
Okay.
1, 1, 3, 4.
Perfect.
So this is 6:30. So the beans is like this. It's changing. It's changing. It's moving to the maybe smell caramelization flavor and very exciting aromas in that moment.
So now the next point of reduction of the flame level will be when we're hitting 150 degrees bean temperature, which we discussed. So what do you think?
So we are moving down again to the 40 power into the 150 temperature,
Yeah.
bean
So,
temperature.
so at 150 degrees C, we have reduced the flame level to 40% at this stage. And we're basically going to try to extend the Maillard reactions in this case, again, to tone down the acidity of this coffee.
And you see the delta, it's quite even. It's very uniform. The delta.
Yeah. And at what temperature do you expect the first crack to occur on this roast?
So I think that 177 or 78, around that.
So we are 20 degrees away from that. We have a relatively low rate of rise, which is between around 3 degrees C per 30 seconds. It's actually hovering. It's going between 3 to 5 degrees. So, and I can see visually, what are you looking at?
So I am checking how the bean is growing. This is that that's the beans is moving the 1 to 1.9 times, and check it the vein into the beans and behavior with the temperature to try to move down again, or I don't know. I'm checking that.
And so this is very exciting because, of course, we will, tomorrow we will assess the flavor profile of this coffee to see what we have accomplished with this roast level, with this roast profile.
9 minutes. The first crab is coming. So I think that we are very close.
Is your impression, are we doing this roast as we had hoped to do? Are we on target or are we a little bit off target?
No, we are on target. And the beans are, when you check the green beans, you are notice that the beans roasted are, of course, even like green beans. So that's normal, but it's just quite strange. It's very exciting that you are the first crack.
First crack is just starting. It is now 9 minutes, 45 seconds, more or less.
175.
Yeah. And we are at 175 degrees. Rate of rise is still 7. So I think we should drop the heat. Let's go down maybe 10 degrees. 10 degrees, what do you think?
10%. Yeah.
We're now at 20, so...
No, sorry, 10%.
So we're now at 10% flame level. First crack is going. The roast development is in full swing.
I think that is almost right. So this is 1 minute and 10 minutes, so we are around 10% of the development time. So I think that is going up.
So we are very close to cut this roast, to take it out. And from what I can see, we succeeded very well with the plan. but we will really find that out once we cup this coffee. But it's kind of what we theorized for this roast with this special fermentation protocol. I think we have done quite a complete job in terms of what our theory was. And so then the next step would be to cup this to validate whether or not the profile that we designed on paper worked. If it did, great. If not, we will re-roast, do a couple of more roasts tomorrow and just reassess. So this is really kind of an exciting dynamic, especially given the fact that this roast is being done for the sake of a barista trying to win this barista competition.
So we are write down the name because the software allow me to put this information. So Caicedonia Willem Boot, natural coffee Lusitania Far, 1.5 kilos. So safe.
And so this exercise also shows this is cool. Here it shows very well, what kind of profile we did. We can export this as a PDF from the software, from the Giesen Roast Profiler software, and use it as a tool to analyze our performance. Cool.
Cool. Interesting. Thank you. So, of course, William, we had to cup this coffee to check if our job was successful. But I'm checking that the beans are kind of dark, so I am worried about it. So yeah, I love the acidity, but the flavors coming from the darkness beans maybe don't like too much.
Can you comment on the development, looking at the beans here?
Oh yeah, so we have a numbers since 1 to 18. So the idea is to put the each sample into the number 6 minutes, 7 minutes. This is a 6:30. This was 8, 9, and so on. So this is the.
Keep the microphone close. So this is kind of where the Maillard reactions start, right?
Yeah.
This is Maillard reactions continuing. Then here we see the first stages of caramelization. Here, start of the first crack, and then development from 9 minutes to 10.5 minutes, which went on for quite a long time. It seems like, but maybe once we cup this coffee, maybe it just cups really perfect.
Okay. Perfect.
So here I am again, back in our laboratory here at Boot Coffee Campus. I took the coffee that we roasted with Jaime Duque, I took it with me. As Jaime commented in the video, that coffee seemed to be a little bit on the darker side. And so what I did, I roasted the same coffee to a slightly different protocol here at Boot Coffee Campus. And that was 48 hours ago. The other coffee has a little bit more resting time. And in general, for special processed coffees, by the way, once you do your cupping, then I really recommend that you allow the coffee to rest. I would say at least 3 to 4 days in order to give it a fair chance to display its full flavor profile. In this case, the coffee that we roasted here has been resting for 48 hours. So I have my sample 71-A, and that is the coffee that we roasted here at Boot Coffee Campus 48 hours ago. And then here on my right, I have sample 22-A, which was the coffee that we roasted at Jaime Duque. And the coffees ended up being very close in roast color. And that's the tricky part with special processed coffees. The coffee post-roasting appears darker than it is. And so I've been going through the smelling, and I've already been making some notes for these coffees. So now I'm going to just validate that again so that you can also understand how I have been doing this. For this purpose, I'm using the cupping form of Boot Coffee, which is a compilation between the SCA and a specific form with descriptors. And you'll see this because this is a downloadable file as part of this, this program. And so just to validate, so 71A, which is the coffee that we roasted here, versus 22A. So with 71A, I found, there were more profound, clear fruit notes. It was just a bit cleaner. What we did different with 71A is that we allowed the development time to be a little bit shorter, and we also shortened the time for the Maillard reaction slightly. And as a result, with 71A, we have more of a malic acidity. That's an acidity like in green apples. It's a bit brighter. With 22A, the coffee that we roasted with Jaime, it has a slightly longer development time and a longer Maillard reactions time. I get more chocolate notes. It's borderline pungent, the flavor profile. It has that really intense kind of fermented aftertaste, winey, I would say almost. So in the end of the game, the coffee we roasted with Jaime, I scored it at 85 points. The coffee we re-roasted here, I scored until now 87 3/4 points. So here you have the same coffee roasted in two different processes with quite different outcomes. It also shows that this coffee does better when it's roasted slightly lighter. But you can see with the different profiles, you can develop these coffees very differently. The roasting of special processed coffees is really a different animal. It's very different. You need to do this diligent cupping every time. I always recommend to do 2 different protocols on the same coffee so that you can set your benchmark of how to move forward with that. I hope this was helpful and that it was fun. You should come and visit here at Boot Coffee Campus. Our website is bootcoffee.com, or you should go and visit Jaime Duque in Colombia. He also has all kinds of courses. His company is called Captación Pública. And have a great rest of the day, a great rest of the month, and we will see you next month again. Bye-bye.